here's a number, okay? What number comes before that number? Okay. Let's say I'm using the counting numbers here, okay? I mean, this is not 3.7. This is all the counting numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? The natural numbers. That's why we use n. If I want the number that comes before this, which one is that? What's the number that comes after this one?
But that n is not really representing the number right now.
Yes, no, it is. It's a number.
Oh, it is?
I just don't know what number it is.
So then how do you know what number is after if you don't know?
Well, that's a good question. Pick a number.
7.
What number comes after that?
8.
Is that because you memorized that? Or is there a reason for that?
That's because I've been doing it so much that I just memorized it.
You memorized it. Okay. Let's go back then and say before you memorized it, or if you had never heard of it before, how would you explain the relationship from 7 to 8?
7 plus 1.
Ah, okay. So this would be plus 1. What would the next number be?
9.
And how would I get that?
7 plus 2 or 8 plus 1.
8 plus 1, right? I would take the number that came before, and I would add 1. So the next number after n is n plus 1.
Yeah.
Right? I know. After you see it, it's obvious. Before you see it, it's just a bunch of letters and gibberish. But now suddenly this makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the number that comes before n?
Minus 1.
Okay. There you go. So if I have a number and I don't know what it is, I can still figure out what number came before it, right? N minus 1. If I call this an, and I call this an plus 1, and I call this an minus 1, okay? All I'm telling you is that these are the numbers in sequence. This one's first, second, third. These are 3 numbers in a sequence that come right after each other, okay? They could be, I don't know, they could be 6, 7, and 8, or they could be 6, 9, and 12, or they could be 6, 18, and 54. Okay. What's going on here? What's the sequence? What's the pattern here? I'm adding 1. What's the sequence here? What's the sequence here? Multiplying by 3. Okay. So then that means if I want n plus 1, right? I have to take the one that came before it, and then I have to do something to it. So for this one here, I'm multiplying by 3. Now, that doesn't mean I'm multiplying n by 3, or n minus, right? So if I want an, then I got to take the one that came before that, right? And multiply that times 3. Now, I'm not multiplying n minus 1 times 3. N minus 1 only refers to which term in the sequence is it. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. You had your hand up. Were you trying to ask a question? Yeah. Just stretching? Okay. For this one, this is, if I want an, I got to go to the one that came before it, and I got to add 1. For this one, if I want an, I have to go to the one that came before it, whoops, one that came before it, and add 3. For this one, I got to go to the one that came before it and multiply it by 3. Okay? That instruction is useless if you don't know where your starting point was. That's why you need an A0 or an A1 to tell me where the starting point was. Okay?